So starting out at scene 55, we've got Christopher and Judy here, trying to walk from that part for starting up there with Christopher on that side, Judy on that side. And then Mrs. Shears will be up there, so they're trying to walk down there while she's shouting at them. And eventually, when they come to the end, it'll be the scene change into the school. So, Mrs. Shears can go sit on that chair. They'll go through here, and then have Siobhan go through with them. And Ed will have brought one of the boxes down for her to sit on down here. So she's up there. Christopher's at the front playing by himself, while Judy is up here, about there, talking to Siobhan. And then Siobhan directs her attention over to Christopher, and then they start talking a bit. And then they have their conversation, I think, mostly in this sort of arrangement for the rest of that scene. And then it goes into the exam room. So we have Roger, who brings a chair, one of the boxes down here, and stands up there, while Christopher goes through the door and sits on the chair. Maybe having a table there. I think I'll definitely have to have the table there. So I'll have to get one of the folding up exam tables to go in front of him. So then Reverend Peters is talking, and then it's the exam scene, while in the transition they've gone to sit on the blocks at the side. So for the rest of that scene, I think it pretty much stays quite similar. And then eventually Siobhan comes in. So during the first half of that scene, she'd come over and maybe go behind the doors to not to make too much of a fuss. And she'd stand on this side of him, just next to him, talking to him about how to help. And then there's a scene change into 58. So if potentially we have Christopher come down, Siobhan take that block up there, Roger go sit there, have a lighting change, so he's there, because then Ed and Judy come from this side. So Ed enters and Judy is behind, which is why this is the only scene in which they don't change sides, because of the way people are. It would be a lot harder to do that, because 3 people would have to swap sides and it would be unnecessary. So he crouches down, Judy will probably be a bit further behind, kind of watching what's going on. And then those two will sit on that side, while Siobhan goes over to the other side with Christopher, so he's sat down at the side. Siobhan will take one of the blocks and put it there. So they'll have their conversation in school. And then scene change into scene 60. I'd have so it starts off with quite confusing stage direction. So it says Ed enters and he's holding a kitchen timer. So he comes on and starts over here. So he then turns away. I think the door should be open for this part. So if Christopher and Siobhan don't close it when they go through. So he has a little conversation through the door, and then Judy comes in, so he'll be further in the middle, she'll be on the side saying it's okay. Siobhan will probably go sit on the block at the side, and then during that point I think he'll go up and go through here and sit towards the front here. And then he leaves, he'll go off to this side of the stage, pick up a box, bring it down to Christopher. Then I'll have to figure out something with the dog, as to whether that be a toy or not. And then the alarm will go off, and those two can go off onto the other side of the stage over here. So scene 61 at school. Christopher will go through to this side. Siobhan will come on and talk to him. She's got the result. So then they're talking a bit. So Mrs. Gascoigne, who is also played by Ed, they'll come on, say the one line and go off again. Or even just stand up on the box, or stand up just in front of it just to say that line. So then they're talking a bit. And then eventually Christopher ends up kind of standing a lot more closer to the middle of the stage, with Siobhan kind of staying where she is. So then the lights go black, Siobhan will go off stage, the door will be sorted out, Christopher goes off, then they run back on into the middle. There'll be a blackboard at some point somewhere on the stage, and then the other four people will come on into various parts of the stage, and depending on where the blackboard is, they'll go to there. So while Christopher at the front is walking around kind of saying his solution to the problem, they're all at the back kind of demonstrating it on the blackboard, because I'm not able to use the projector. And that is the end of my section.